Nerd Takes. I'm Justin.
And I'm John.
And we are joined with two amazing guests. First of all, we've got producer Justin.
Hello.
And we've got a good friend, Daniel.
Hello.
We are here to talk about the Larceny barrel proof, but we're going to be comparing two batches. We've got the C922 and the C923. So for those of you who aren't familiar, watchers, listeners, the way that the batches work with Larceny barrel proofs, really pretty much anything from Heaven Hill, who produces these bottles. The first letter is the batch number that it comes out with. So A, B, C. So it's first, second, or third of the year. So this is the C, third batch of the year. The 9 is the month that it comes out. So for both these, it came out in September. And then the last two numbers are the year. So the 922 and the 923. So these are come out in September of 22 and September of 23. Make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yep. Okay.
Got it.
So this is according to their website. Again, it's produced by Heaven Hill. Larceny Barrel Proof offers a new opportunity to experience our acclaimed wheated bourbon mash bill in its purest form. Non-chill filtered and bottled at full barrel proof. It's released 3 times per year in January, May, and September. Each offering is a bold yet balanced special small batch bourbon rich with depth and distinction. Much like Larceny's small batch and Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond, Larceny Barrel Proof is a welcome reminder of just how good wheated bourbons can be. So the age statement on these are 6 to 8 years old, and the cost is roughly $60. That's MSRP, but the average shelf price for this, for both these bottles, is roughly $100. Secondary,
Really? Mm-hmm. That seems silly.
Yeah, secondary is about $120.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Now-
considering we got both of these for probably $65, $70, so
Yeah.
just a shade over MSRP. Still good value.
Right. So the proofs on these are pretty similar. So the one that came out in 22, it's a 126.6 proof, and the one that came out in 23 is slightly less or lower, but not by a lot, 126.4 proof. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through 3 different categories: the nose, the palate, and the finish. And again, notice nose is what it smells like, the palate is what it initially tastes like, and the finish is what it tastes like 30 to 60 seconds after the fact. I'm curious, looking at the colors. And I should make a real quick comment because I kind of read the description of both. According to the website, they really don't have a distinction per batch and per year.
You can't really see.
I'm looking at these two, and you can't really tell either.
Right. So when the batches come out, obviously the proof is different, and you may have different reviews. But for the most part, according to Heaven Hill, they kind of have similar, or supposed to have similar nose, palate, and tasting notes, etc.
Right.
And they also supposed to have the same appearance. Now, I've got a phrase here for appearance. If Brian was here, he'd know the answer to it. But based on the appearance, what color do you think they are hoping that you can associate this with? And I'm asking you this question now because I just want to hear the ridiculous answers you're going to come up with before I tell you the right answer.
Amber.
Amber was going to be my word. Yeah,
Amber.
man. Amber.
That's great. So that's actually really close.
Did we get it?
You did not get it right.
Of course we didn't.
man.
get it
Do you
right.
want a second guess?
It's some obscure.
The word is, okay, it's 2 words. Dark is the first word, and the second word starts with an S.
Dark smoke,
We'll have the guess, no?
No.
but that doesn't.
Got nothing.
So it's
I don't
dark
know.
sepia.
Seriously?
is the answer.
Sepia. Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
I see that.
Yes.
Okay.
This is
okay.
totally
Yeah.
sepia.
So clearly.
But it, like,
Right.
all right, you're sepia. You look like Cheers, right?
Yeah,
You know, when I'm
you
kind of
look
like
way worse. So yeah, okay.
So let's
beer
let's
goggles,
do
but
this.
you look so much worse. Oh God.
What we're gonna do is since they don't really have a distinction of what the nose and the palate and the finish are supposed to be per year and per batch, let's just do noses and palates and appearances for. Or, I'm sorry, and finishes for all 3 or both at the same time.
Okay.
And then afterwards we will give it a rating.
We'll rate them.
We'll rate both of them separately.
Yeah.
If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Got it.
Okay?
Got it.
And then
it.
one
So-
will be declared the winner.
And we'll declare a winner.
There will be.
So let's go through the nose. So what are some things that you guys think, Lambert, you're going to start? So as you're kind of maybe give them both a whiff, kind of get some different nosing elements.
So I'm doing so for the 22. It's got a little bit of funk. It's the best way that I can describe it, but it's got a little bit of a little bit of funk, and then a little bit of like, it's weird because it's almost like grass or moss on it, which is so strange because I've had this before and I don't think I ever picked that up. The 23 is way sweeter. You get the traditional, like the typical, like the cop out ones of like you get caramel, you get vanilla. You could go so far as like a custard or like a creme brulee or something like that, where it's a lot sweeter. Whereas this, with the nose on this one, is just completely not bourbon-esque, so to speak.
What do you think, Justin?
Okay, so John, you said the grass, and I got that, like a fresh cut grass.
Yeah.
But the other smell that I briefly got, and then I ended up, I think, blowing out all the ethanol or whatever from it. But I almost got that quick whiff of like, almost like chlorine, of like you're walking into a pool and you get that like funky smell
that's
right
not
at the
good.
beginning.
Maybe that's the
But
maybe that's the funk that I got.
That's what
'cause
I'm
I
saying. Like, I don't mean it as in like this chlorine. I mean it like there's like this.
What did you
weird,
do to
like,
this bottle?
hit of like, I've never smelled that in a bottle of bourbon before.
It's definitely harsher. And,
Yeah.
and I've been trying to like place it as you guys are talking, and I almost am reminded more of like a juniper. There's something like just
There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say I went back in and I started getting some more spice to it.
there's
Like
spices,
whether it's a
and
rye
it
spice
just
or
feels
whatever it is.
harsher than the 23. And the 23, I agree. I don't remember which one you said it. It's more traditional. It smells.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
what
you
it
said,
was.
Lambert.
Yep.
It was
Yes,
more.
it's just-
It's just more of the caramel. It's what you expect. The 22 seems just a little bit different, and I'm curious what it's going to taste like. So.
Yeah.
Well, so according to their website, you're supposed to be getting a nose of toasted bread with maple and cinnamon. And the more I'm thinking about this, I wonder
For which
I get
one?
that with the
Well,
23
either?
for
Yes.
sure.
I think that according to their website, this is again Heaven Hill. I couldn't really find 22 like their notes because that's once they release a new batch, they kind of like ditch it for the year.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
is what I was getting for like the 23.
I can
So
see that.
whatever you said for 22, I think is right.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
All
I was gonna
right.
say everything you said. I
Yes.
got for the 23.
For
Yeah,
23,
all that,
I think
yeah.
you're
maple,
certainly
the
getting
cinnamon,
that.
the caramel
Yeah.
notes.
Right.
It's, it's good.
Almost like Cinnamon Toast Crunch type
What
thing.
you
So,
expect.
well, let's jump into the
Okay.
palate and let's see if we can kind of distinguish something. I've actually already tasted the 22. So with that, I'll just tell you without reading the notes, this has got some pretty good heat to it,
Woo.
and I feel like it is lingering,
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Whoa.
which for me that's
Wow.
a good thing, but not
Whoa.
necessarily for everyone. Justin,
wow.
you want to?
No,
That's intense.
I love it.
That's a
but
journey.
It is. It's
Woo.
still going.
Yep.
We're going on 30 seconds. It's still there. Whoa. Whoa.
Lambert, you got any follow up?
No, I mean
comments?
definitely some heat to it, and yeah, just echoing like the finish is still kind of going, but I don't get so as far as like the grass or the funk, like that's not on the palate.
No,
It's
no, it's
only on the
not.
nose.
I only get heat.
which is-
I'm
which is
getting the
interesting.
notes of caramel and the cinnamon maple in the back end on the finish, but it's still there's a fair amount of heat on the tongue and everything. But I'm getting the traditional things as I'm kind of getting the finish on this. It's that's a journey. That's a wild ride. It was good.
Well, so try
Try
the
the
23 now
23, yeah.
and see what you think. And Lambert, you've already done that. So do you have any?
I have not tried the 23. I
haven't
went.
tried the 23.
I went back to the 22 real quick.
Well, I've tried a 23, and I can tell you that it's definitely sweeter, as you guys have been mentioning. It's not as like burn like right up front. Like the 22 was like, oh shit, that's punched me in the face. Like that is a barrel proof bourbon for the most part, and the 23 is a little bit more subtle. I think it's got maybe more of a deeper mouthfeel. Like it's like more oily, I guess, if that makes sense. Like it's coating the mouth a little better. But I do like the 22 and how hot it is because I like the hot stuff.
Yeah,
So,
the 22 punches you in the face, whereas the flavor on the 23 isn't on like the tip of your tongue. It's more in the mid palate and almost like the back of your throat is where the flavor starts to come.
That describes perfectly what I just experienced.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as hot, but there is a kick to it. It's just it's further back on the palate, further back on the tongue,
And it is more oily.
Oh yeah.
and way more oily.
You're right on that. Which I like that.
Oh, I
I
like
do
that
too.
too.
I
yeah.
like that thick mouthfeel.
Yeah, that 22 just has a wild kick, and the 23 it's a lot kind of easing you into that. Yeah.
And it's still going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's
still got a nice
it's kind
long
of a
finish.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, let's just move on. Well, what they're saying for the nose or the palate is supposed to be rich molasses, coats the tongue with notes
Coats the
of
tongue.
fig and hazelnut. And so just to speak,
Fig.
fig, right?
I didn't get
I
that.
definitely get the
don't get the
molasses.
No.
You definitely get the sweetness.
sweetness is there in
whether it's
23.
molasses or whatever you want to
Maple,
call it.
yeah, something. It's a sweetness on there.
So then we just kind of like right into the finish, like since we've kind of had both giving them a second to like linger. Daniel, you want to speak to the finish for the 23?
Oh, it's just really smooth. I like that you're still getting a little bit of the spice and the heat even for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
It lingers, but it's a lot smoother than the 22. The 22 is a lot more heat throughout the whole range.
Yeah. Justin?
I think one of you said it. I think it was you, Daniel, of roller coaster. I got a roller coaster with the 23. I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying, like, I don't know.
Like you thought it was going to go away, and then it comes
And then it
back.
comes back.
Yes,
and then
yes,
it
yes.
slowly
and then
starts
kinda
to
slowly,
fade.
but then it came back a little bit more, and then
Yeah.
it dissipated. So the roller coaster was a really good way to put it. The 23 definitely, in my opinion, has this would be more of my go-to. I know, Justin, you love the hot stuff. You want it to punch you in the face. Me, I'm much more of like, I like that smooth finish that has a little bit more of like, oh man, I might like set that glass down for a little bit, and I've had some bourbon.
Yeah, you can still and you can still
a little
taste it.
firework. in there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Right, and you get this, and you get those, the spice, right? At the very like at the end of the roller coaster, where it comes back, it ramps back up, and then it starts to fade away, and that's when you start getting some of those spices back, like the dark spices.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So the finish says nuanced flavor fades into lingering warmth.
Lingering warmth.
Lingering warmth.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
Cozy.
that's very cop out.
So
I know you didn't write it, but that's a total cop out.
Heaven Hill marketing for you.
I love it.
Well, let's do some ratings. So some nerd take ratings on our Luke Skywalker scale. Lambert, you get to go first on this
I
one.
can go first.
And
yeah.
I want you to do, why don't we do the 2 as a group, and then we'll do the 3 as a group.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we will crown our winner.
So it's interesting because I haven't gone back to the 2 in a while, but I loved it. Obviously. And I have I have some spares just because it was a fantastic. And I'm glad we came back to it because like I don't remember those notes. Like I remember enjoying it, but like I never actually sat down and talked about this and like talked about the notes. I'm going to give it a Hoth Luke.
A Hoth Luke. All right.
Just because, I mean, I guess maybe I'm misremembering, but like I thought it was going to be better than I remember.
I do think it is, like, to be like
You know what I mean?
fully transparent. This is how you're comparing it to maybe the other one. I wonder if you did this by itself, if maybe it would have
Yeah.
a slightly different rating.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's too late now.
I know. I'm just saying. But I think it does become relative, right? Based on in your mind, you're like, well, I think one's maybe significantly or better or whatever it is than the other one.
Yeah.
So that's going to give maybe one a higher rating or lower rating. So
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's bad. A 6 is a good score.
A 6 still is a good score. And again, like we do this again in a week, and it might have a lower ranking, it might have a higher ranking. You never know.
Producer Justin?
So I'm actually at a 4 to 5 on that one. We'll generous in 4 to 4.5. And I don't mean to hate on it because I do think there's some enjoyment to be had with it. But having listened to you guys rate these for the better part of 2 years now and enjoying bourbon in my own spare time on a regular basis, I think of bourbon in really 2 ways. Would I enjoy it by myself or would I enjoy it at a party? And I can't find a place in either of those where I would enjoy this. And so I'm going to give that one charitably a 4.5 in the sense that if someone gave it to me, I'm going to sit and enjoy it and sip it and talk about it as I am here.
And then ask for something else
And
for the
then,
next 4.
yeah, where can I get something else? Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually feeling generous with my original thinking was a 4, and I think I'm going to switch to a 3. It's just
We
not
don't get a
for
lot of
me.
we don't get a lot of you
it's
just kiss your sister, Luke.
It's
Yeah.
just
You just kissed your sister.
it's just not my thing, and I think I just finished the last little bit, knowing what the kind of 23 tastes like absolutely influences that. If I kind of knew, if I hadn't known this is kind of the 23 is what they're maybe going for here, the 22 just doesn't do it for me. It's too harsh in a lot of ways, and I know that appeals to a lot of people. So I kind of think it really is are you looking for a little bit more bite, in which case it'd be a higher number. But for me, it's going to be 3.5 maybe.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to
Blow it out the
You're
water.
in the minority
Give it
here.
the
I'm
9.
sure.
Give
I'm
it the
sure
9.
you are.
You know you want to.
I am gonna go Stormtrooper Luke with an 8.
I knew
think-
it. I knew you were
I
going to.
think that this
you
is.
were clearly a fan.
I love
saw
it.
the
I think
ratio.
it's hot. I think it's spicy. I think it
it
tastes
is.
delicious. I think that like you can't go wrong with this one. For me personally,
It's all those
Um,
things. You're exactly right.
This is my
Yeah.
jam,
No, you're right.
and I like the hot, spicy stuff.
Yeah.
I will say
If
after
you're
I,
in it for that, it is an 8. for
I will
sure.
say after I added a thimble of water to it, I liked
Yeah.
it more. I was like, okay,
There you go.
it diluted it just enough that I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay. But I don't like to mix things with my bourbon. So.
I usually don't either, but like I added it reluctantly.
I mean, a good Irish or a good Scotch will sometimes benefit from that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's,
I
you
agree
know,
with that.
yeah.
Lambert, you got some special information for us here?
what do we got?
So
What's the-
Breaking Bourbon did a review on this. So it's
All right, now we have
a common
another track
website.
here.
For the nose, some of the things they call out: cinnamon spice, nutmeg, brown sugar, French toast. And that's pretty much it. Palate: oaky caramel base, cinnamon spice, nutmeg, brown sugar, graham cracker, syrup soaked French toast, oak, spice, sweet, equal parts. A warming heat. As it fades, French toast mingles with the dry oak. And just to note that maybe to give some context, so they have a barrel ranking, 5 barrels being the best, 1 barrel being the worst. This got 4.5.
Oh, wow.
It's got an exceptional rating.
Is this for the 22 or the 23?
This is for the 22. The 22 got an
Really?
exceptional rating and was one of their bourbons of the year.
You and I are in the minority here.
Well, I think that a lot of people like.
Well,
a
and that's
hot
why
cocoa.
I got so
and I
many
get
because
I
when
think
I
a lot
first
of people
had
like
this, it was fantastic.
It's to me, it's analogous to the IPA movement. You want a lot of
Fair
you
enough.
want a lot of that bitterness. You
Which
want
is
a lot
so
of
funny
the
though,
flavor.
because you and I both really like Scotch whiskey.
And so
and-
it's not for me the dislike of the bite. It's just I'm not a huge fan of these hot
I-
ones.
think
I
it's the
wonder-
super hot without the peaty. I
That
think
might
that's
be
what
it.
what it really
That
comes
might be
down
it.
to.
I wonder if this has been open for a while. I mean, it hasn't been open for an inordinate amount of time because, well, it's a C922, but it's been open.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I have 2 more of these that are not open. I wonder if we fresh crack that one, what
Maybe.
that tastes like.
That would be interesting.
If the air got to this, because like the notes that we were just talking about aren't mentioned in that review at
all.
No,
at
that
all.
was a lot more like the 23. That's what I
know what
really
I
thought
mean?
you were reading the 23.
No, I was reading the 22.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's interesting. So maybe the air got to it and really changed the complexity of it. I mean, air's going to get to it anyways, but
Sure, of
it
course.
changed the complete dynamic of that.
Yeah.
I think everyone here is saying yes. We'll agree to that.
Awesome.
Future tasting to try open a new bottle.
Yeah, well,
Let's
let's
do
try
it.
another bottle of it. Even
Okay.
if it involves kissing your sister, I guess.
No, I've got 2 more, so it's all right.
It still could be worse.
Still have to do it.
All right. Well, let's go around the table again and talk about what you're ranking for the 23. Lambert, you get to go
Stormtrooper.
first again.
Stormtrooper Luke.
Matter of fact, way
Matter
better.
of fact, better.
Okay.
Just the traditional notes of I like the sweet stuff. I like the mouthfeel. I like the finish. Like it hits all the right notes for me. So, Stormtrooper.
I'm actually probably 8.5. I really like it. The
We got
23.
New Hope
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Hope Luke. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's New Hope Luke.
I am on board with this. I think it was delicious, absolutely delicious, and I wouldn't think twice about putting that on my shelf.
Yeah, I'm in the New Hope, Luke. It was really, really good. I was Stormtrooper to New Hope. It's very good stuff. If the 22 tasted that way originally, I mean, for sure, I'd have 3 bottles on the
I
shelf.
feel like it did.
Yeah, it sounds like it did. So
I hate to be redundant, but I was actually going to say New Hope Luke as well.
No.
Really? Okay.
Love it.
I wanted to make sure I give the 22 like it's
it's just
it's
different.
fair. I think it's for me. This is like my jam, but this is obviously it's subjective. But I think that like objectively, it's got a list of different profiles that we all enjoyed. It's got more of the mouthfeel oiliness that you think you want out of a bourbon that you can sip on and not have to keep drinking more and more of it, or you want to keep drinking more and more of it because it's not burning your freaking nostrils off.
Yeah.
You mere mortals that don't enjoy that. I enjoy the nostril burning, but I think I'm
Well,
in the
you know.
minority.
You want to trade?
Me and Pat. Ooh, maybe we'll discuss that.
We could talk about
off
that.
There
camera.
you go.
Well, so
I've got another one, so yeah.
I think we don't need to really say who's the winner. The C923 is the
23.
winner with us, but I'm the only one who thinks 22 is still pretty good. But maybe we'll do another blind
it's,
test.
It's good for what it is.
I want
It
to.
is.
I want to see what it's. I want to open up another one because I don't remember. Like I remember like loving the
Yeah.
C922.
I would
It-
agree
it was,
with
It was amazing when I tried it months ago, and for some reason, it changed. It was weird.
I would agree with that because again, nothing you said in that flavor profile is what I got. So
yeah.
I
Interesting.
would be willing to revisit it. Yeah.
Yeah. Give it
Done.
another chance.
Well, we're going to do that again later on, but probably off camera. So, Daniel, Justin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lambert, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Everyone else, see you next time. Nerd Takes.
Nerd takes.
Nerd Takes.